Hi, Daniel.
Hey, Robin, how are you?
Yeah, good. I'm just testing my microphone and speaker, so I'm just opening up now.
Oh, okay, all right. I'll let you do that because I just went to join them and
Yeah, sorry.
launch the meeting.
I walked away to get a glass of water and thought, oh shit, I've gone over the 9:45. But yeah, it's all okay. I'm doing.
That's okay. No worries. All right, I'll let you do that and then I'll join.
Okay then. See you. Bye. Hello, hello. Oops. Oh yeah, I'm doing this so. I don't know why. I'm fine. This is the waiting room. Hi, Daniel. Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear. Perhaps, Daniel, can you let me know if you can hear before we start, just to make sure?
Yep, all good, Ron.
Thank you, because I did pause it and it came up saying it was being paused, but that's fine. Okay, so we'll make a start. Oh, no, that's obviously gone back to where it was. Okay, so thanks everybody for joining us today. Thank you to the City of Perth and to Switch Your Thinking for making this holiday fun activity workshop online possible. So we're going to make a start, and hopefully all the images you've seen before will make you really inspired to keep going. And okay, I was just double checking on that message to make sure you could hear. Ah, no. It keeps jumping in and out. Let me try again. There we go. Okay, so a little bit about Switch Your Thinking, which is a local government body. And I've been fortunate enough to be part of this for quite a long time. They originated in 3 local governments, the City of Armidale, Gosnells and Serpentine, Jarrahdale. And it's all about sustainability and trying to reduce energy. And they offer lots of amazing programs, including this workshop that we're having today. But these are some of our member councils that participate in this program, and they offer all kinds of things. So if you've not had a chance, particularly for the grown-ups, go on and have a look at Switch Your Thinking. There are some great programs there. Rewards for Residents is one of them that I've personally been able to participate in, where they offer rebates and from selected organisations. So another thing they do is the Energy Smart SMS. So you can actually participate in that. It's a no obligation, and you can also opt out of it. But once a month, you get a little tip on your phone that gives you an idea, for instance, like closing windows, stops drafts, and of course that reduces power. So that's all useful. So today we're looking at using recycled materials, and I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about why we should reuse and recycle. And some of those statistics that are on there are pretty staggering, that of all the paper that we use in this country, approximately only 65% is being recycled. The rest is going somewhere. Now, if you're at my house, I know it goes into the compost bin. So one of the little rules to remember is that if a piece of paper can't fit in your palm of your hand, don't put it in the yellow top recycling bin, because what happens is, if you are lucky enough to have a tour of one of those facilities, you will see the paper goes up an elevator, and depending on lightness and so forth, there are wafts of air that blow it. And even if it's not to that point going up the elevator, if it's less than the palm size of your hand, it flies off, and anything that goes to the ground is picked up by a bobcat or dozer at the end of the day. So it's going to landfill, and it's such a waste because it's an organic material that could even go into your compost bin. So if I get things like a tablet box or maybe a business card or something that's not shiny and glossy, just a small piece of paper, that gets ripped up and gets put straight into our compost. And that way I know at least it's going to be of some use. But for that percentage of paper that we're not recycling and reusing, there is a massive statistic there that every person in Australia is basically throwing away 230 kilos of paper. So that's a pretty sobering fact. So we're going to do something today which will stop that and have a bit of fun. So what I've got on here is a list of all the materials that you're going to need. And
sorry, Robin.
Yeah.
I can still see the intro slideshow.
Really? Thanks,
Yep.
Daniel. Because what the last message that's come up is everybody can see me. So
Yep, we can see you, but I can't see any of your slides, just the intro slide. So you might just need to press escape from that.
Yeah, I've got it. Okay, I'm going to get out of sharing and we'll start again. So I think it might have been because I paused it originally. Okay, so can you see that one there? That should say Seedheart and card. Is that showing, Daniel?
Yes, I can see your list of materials there.
Okay, all right.
Great.
So I apologise for that before. Okay, so most of those materials you can actually find in your house, in anybody's home. The only thing that I would say that's probably not there is possibly the heart-shaped biscuit cutter. But you'll see later on in the video that if you can't get a heart, you can use any shape. I've got a whole selection of biscuit cutters that includes butterflies and chooks and so forth. The only issue you have with some of the more complex shapes is sometimes when you remove the cutter, the paper sticks to it. So the heart shape is perfect, and even a circle, a plain circle is good too, a scone cutter. So yeah, have a good look for those things. I will send out this as a PDF, so you'll have that list, so mum and dad can help you. The other thing you'll note down here on the back of the card that I make, I made a little tag to go on the back of the card on the computer, and it depends on the seed that you plant. So I've embedded a flower called Queen Anne's lace, and on that back I've put instructions on how to plant and how to care for the seeds. So that's something extra that you will have to do and perhaps spend some time doing. But of course, it's not necessary. If you know the person really well, they might be able to do that themselves. So that's an option. And we'll just move on to our next one, which is not being nice to me. So we'll go to the next slide. So now we've got some fun time. We're going to actually watch myself having a bit of fun making these videos, making the seed hearts. So I'm going to now turn on to a YouTube that I've made. So we'll get rid of that slide. And don't forget, if you've got any questions as we go along, you can put them in the chat room, and Daniel from the City of Perth is going to try and answer them. And if not, at the end, we'll have plenty of time for questions. So let's go to our YouTube, which is gone missing. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry about this. It was on my screen before and now it's not working. So I'm just going to have to bear with me for a moment while we just go looking for that. Get back into oh my goodness, why? There it is. Okay, so I can share and hopefully I'll put that on full screen for you and you can watch. And then we're just going to restart that for you. Okay, so Daniel, is that showing now? Hi everyone, my name's some reason. Is it? Yeah, on my end it's showing blue. I don't know why, but we'll. Hi everyone, my name's Robin Brown from Western Resource.
Yeah, I can see blue as well.
We did this perfectly before, and now it's.
Yeah, maybe just try it again.
Yeah, I think I might too. We'll just try another share again. thrown away. And I'm showing you how to make Seedheart. And you can think thinking about Mother's Day. No, it's refusing to play anything but blue.
It looks like you've got it highlighted.
We've got Queen Anne's lace. And I sorry, people. Choose that again, and I'll close it and get out of here. Now but it's not absolute accurate science. So when you pick it up, if you squeeze it. Okay, that looks to be playing better. Is that right, Daniel? I'll just make it full screen.
Yep, that looks perfect. You just need to go back to the start.
Yeah, don't know what happened there. There we go. Hi everyone, my name is Robin Brown from Western Resource. Today I'm going to show you how to have a bit of fun recycling using some home products that are normally thrown away. And I'm showing you how to make Seedheart. And you can think thinking about Mother's Day. These are all Seedhearts. They've got Queen Anne's lace seeds in them, and I've actually put on the back instructions on how to grow and plant them. But of course, you might have your own seeds that you can use. So just take 5, and I'm going to show you all of the steps that you need. Now we're going to make the Seedhearts, and what you'll need is to collect some old file paper or junk mail paper. We need about 3 sheets to make 6 of these little hearts, and I've used a biscuit cutter, so that that biscuit cutter is only about 3 centimetres. It's quite a small one. Doesn't really matter. The bigger the cutter, the more fragile and they can break when they're quite wet. So the smaller ones actually, even though they're tiny, are actually easier to handle when they're wet. But from those 3 sheets of paper, you're going to need to tear them up into strips and then into little pieces, about 1 centimetre each. So that's something you can do while you're sitting watching TV. And what I've done here is I've actually put them into a dish and then covered them with warm water. I leave that for about an hour. Some people do use it straight away, but I found over practice that this is better if you leave it for about an hour, and the fibres, the cellulose fibres in the paper start to drift out into the water, and it makes it easier to combine, which is the basis of making recycled paper or any paper. So from tearing up the paper, we get to putting it in a tall, thin container like that, and just covering it with hot water. So you can see inside that container there's just enough to cover it. And our next stage is actually going to mix it up. So if you're really young, you need to get your parents to help you with this stage. If not, all you need is a stick, a bar mix stick or a blender, and you need to blend that until it's a pulp. So this is where it gets a bit noisy, but it doesn't take very long. And you can see in there, by the pulp is starting to form. But if you lift the mixer up, you'll still see a few pieces of unmixed paper. So what you'll need to do at this point is just take that mix out and go around the edges, and any of the big pieces of paper that have stuck to the edge, just lift them off with your finger, and then we are going to zap it again. So over, you can see. And it's that fast, it doesn't take very long at all. We do need to get rid of some of the excess water. So what I'm going to do now is show you what you need to do. We'll need some kind of strainer and a jug, and we're just going to tip that pulp in there and get rid of a quick amount amounts of paper. Now you see a couple of pieces in there that didn't get mixed up. Now you've got two options here. Because this is so pulpy, you can just tear them up with your fingers. Or you can put it back in the container and put it again. But I can show you how to do that instead. And you shouldn't have any problem with that. Just a few odd pieces that were left on the edge that didn't get that. So just push that through with your fingers. It's just to get rid of excess moisture. And then what we're going to do then, after we've got rid of that excess moisture, is this is an option that you can use to put food colouring in. So we're going to, at this next stage, put it back into my main container. So when I pick this up, you'll be able to tell this is just practice, but it's not absolute accurate science. So when you pick it up and you squeeze it, you should be able to squeeze and only have a few drops. That's about right. Okay, I'm going to put that back into my main bowl and we'll put that aside. And then we'll start our next process. I'll come back to it. I'm going to add some food colouring. If you want, you can use natural colours. So for instance, if you wanted this dark pink colour, all you need to do is soak a beetroot for an hour or so and you'll get that lovely rich purple pink colour. So there are different natural dyes, but food colouring is perfectly safe. You only need a few drops. Some food colourings come with a squeezy bottle. This one doesn't, it comes with a lid. So I'm going to put about 4 drops in here to get that darker pink. That's about enough. And then that's got to be mixed through. The only downside to any dye, whether it's natural or food colouring, is you are going to get some of this on your fingers, but it comes off evenly with soap and a bit of lemon juice. So now you have to mix that evenly through your pot, and you can see a fork's perfect for doing that. Just takes a few minutes to do before you get that even colour. Of course, you could leave it spotty because that would be a bit creative, having the pink and dark pink and white. And some people like to mix 2 colours, and you can do that as well. So I'm going to leave it with a few dark pink spots in there and a few bits of white, so we get a bit of variation. Now the last stage is to put some seeds into it. You do need to use fine seeds. So if you look at these are flower seeds and these are Queen Anne's lace. You can use vegetable seeds, you can use lettuce or carrots or something similar, but they should be quite fine. We can't have anything big and lumpy because it will prevent paper from folding together. So you can go for flowers or for vegetables. You can even go for Australian native plants. But in that amount of pulp, I need about a big heaped teaspoon of seeds that I'm also going to mix through. You've got lots of seeds, you can be super generous, and I collect these from my own garden, so I'm going to put 2 seeds in, but my seeds are reasonably expensive, so 1 spoon is probably enough. We'll mix that through, then the fun comes making our little hearts. Okay, so this is where I'm going to move around to the side of my table, and I've got a towel on the table. And you need an absorbent cloth. You can use a paper towel and you can throw that in the compost bin afterwards, or you can use a reusable washing cloth that can be washed and reused again. You need to put the biscuit cutter down. I find this works better if you put the thin side to the top and the rolled edge at the bottom. So that's what we're going to do. And you can either put your fingers in there or use your fork, but I love to use my fingers because you have to do it in the moment anyway. So this is where you have to judge the size of your biscuit cutter. I'm putting, this is a tiny biscuit cutter, it's only about 3 centimetres by 3, heart shape. Of course you can use any shape you like. I chose to make the heart because I thought that's something that was close to me from my mum, that, you know, is showing that how much you love her. And then what you've got to do, and this takes a little bit of time, you have got to push down. As you squeeze, you'll see the water going down through the cloth into the towel. So you need to make sure that the towel that you use it's going to get some pink dye on it. So it has to be an old cow, or one that you don't mind, that you can get a good rinse and it will all come out. And you need to keep going until you can't see any moisture coming up. So this is where I need my camera to come in close. And you'll see as I push down, little bits of moisture still coming out there. And you need to push that all the way around the edge to get nearly all of that moisture out into the towel. Because what we're trying to do is dry this out as much as possible so our seeds don't get tricked into thinking there's enough moisture to germinate. But that's really, really important. And then what you need to do, once you can't see much moisture, you put your 2 fingers inside the biscuit cutter and you just gently shimmy and vibrate that biscuit cutter till it lifts. And you can see it lifting. And then what you need to do is change places and put fingers up the other end. In the case of the heart, the point part's quite weak. So I need to push my finger down in there while I do the same thing. Shimmy and lift. And then I lift my whole leaf up. You might have a couple of sharp edges, so you can push them down with your finger and flatten them. And that is as simple as it is. The only other thing that we have to do is to put a little hole into each heart. You can wait till this is a little bit drier and give this about an hour sitting on the towel, and then that's going to be dry enough to turn over. And I will show you how to do that next. We need to use that skewer pencil. So while your parts are quite damp, remove the while they're still quite damp, you will need to put that skewer hole in. So be gentle, don't move it too much, but push through in a circular vibrating sort of motion. You get to feel like you get close to the dishcloth. Now, I made a second batch deliberately to show you if you don't leave your paper for a long period of time, you can see here that it doesn't mix up as well. On these ones, there's no evidence of unmixed paper whatsoever. Okay, it's been left for about an hour and the water is still into the paper. So it's a good practice to do that, because what might happen is if your skewer hits some of that unmixed paper, it could well break. You have to be careful of that. Having done that, you need to leave it on the dishcloth for about an hour to drain a little before you carefully turn them over. Now they're still very fragile, so you need to slide your hand under and put your other hand over and flip them over and gently put them down like that. Or you can do as I've done here. Again, lift it up, support it, and carry it over and put it on a cake tray with some paper towel. And that can stay there overnight and dry out. And then they should be quite dry, just to stack like this one here, and they will continue to dry for a few days. Good idea to leave them in a bright sort of place, not near the heat, because you don't want to trick their seeds into thinking they're going to germinate. So if it's light and airy in the kitchen somewhere, they'll dry out and get really crisp and hard. That's where we want them to be before we make the calm. Right, so now we're going to do our second part of our activity, and we're going to turn our little seed mask into a gift. It's Mother's Day very soon, the second weekend in May, and you can put a couple of seed hearts or maybe only one on a card. I've made my card single side, but you can have a normal oval card. But on the back, I've actually put some instructions on how to grow the seeds, and I've just got those instructions from the internet. It's important though that you include things like when you need to sow the seeds, so this goes on in the autumn, how high the plants are going to grow, what position you put, if it's sunny or shady, And the benefits of these things is that they bring in a lot of beneficial insects to your garden. So if you've got a vegetable like I do, that's really important that we have things like cauliflowers and lacewings and dragonflies and all kinds of beneficial insects that eat all of the bad insects. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to put it in a standard size envelope, which I'll give you the measurements of in a moment. And that's going to go as a little present. You can give that to your mum or to your friend. And that just fits in a normal standard envelope. Okay, so something a bit extra to do. And the best part is that's all made out of recycled stuff. So I've got some jute string that was on the parcel that I've kept, and I collect all these old file dividers that have come out of my children's folders. They might have, labels and things on, but I'm going to cut those up and turn them into my ink card. So this is what we need to do. So I've already pre-measured my envelope, and I know that it is 16 by 11.5 centimetres, and I have to cut out a card that's 15 by 10. Choose one of my file dividers, or the other thing you can use are the old manila files that most people have lots of that they've kept in their tax file or something like that. So we'll take that and make a cutting board or a really big thick piece of cardboard, and we're going to make some measurements. Cut out a piece of card that's 11.5 centimetres. Use a pencil, so if you make a mistake, you can obviously cut that out. Now the other thing you'll need to get is you'll have to have either a craft cutting knife or some scissors. Now, if you're a very young person, you might need to get your parents to help you, or growing up to help you with the craft knife. Otherwise, you can use scissors. No, that's ready for cutting. I actually use a craft knife. A very good idea when you use a craft knife, when you don't draw it towards you, you take it off a little way to the edge of you, just in case you slip. Well, card to put my Seedheart on. Now you'll need to punch a hole in the top of your card so the string can go through. I've got a single punch, but most people have got file punch which has got 2 holes in it, so just use 1/4 of it. And if failing you haven't got any of those, you could use a skewer again to make a hole. Take a piece of string about 30 centimetres, so it's about 30 centimetres. Cut that. And then that is going to be used to put 2 of the hearts on. The other thing you'll need to do is make yourself some labels, like I've done here, on the computer, whatever seeds you choose, and I just copied those again 4 times so that I've got a few to make my hearts. And then you can cut one of those out, and that's going to go on the back. First, and then you can use a cutting knife, or you can use file for next time, and then you cut this one. And I'm just going to do it. So while I'm cutting this, the next thing you've got to think about is what you're going to write on your card. So I was giving this as a Mother's Day card, so my husband had a very nice saying. zoom in on that. While I'm still cutting card out. But you might come up with something else. It might be just, you know, to someone, from someone. So that's going to be glued on the back. Just grabbing my glue stick. And you don't have to go over more with glue sticks. Just a few dabs all the way around the outside. Do it efficiently. Don't forget to put the legs straight up on the first stick. So we'll pop that down on the back. Go around the outside so that's sitting down neatly. Now I'm not going to attach my hearts yet. I'm going to just place them there and work out what I'm going to say. Now on mine up before I put a lovely number on my heart. Now, so that you make sure, this is a little tip, so that you don't have all your writing on one side, I generally find the middle of my piece of paper. You can measure it or you can just write it out roughly like that. Work out how many words you've got and how many lines, and you can do a couple of lines depending on what you have to say. So I have 4 lines. So I want to make sure that I'm going to use that up properly, and then you can start writing. You can print, you can write, just make it large so you can read it. And I always pencil it in first, so that if I make a mistake, it's easy to erase, and then you can go back on your card and still look nice. And I'm just doing the same message. And then over the top, you can use whatever pen or texture or coloured pencil or crayon you would like. So I had a nice gold texture. Now, gold sometimes is transparent, which means it's see-through, so you might have to rub your lines out very pale. But I know that this one is not transparent and it won't show through, so I can go over my letters with my pencil. Now, rather than keep going and spend too much time on that, I would keep going like that, and then I got extra paper with mine, and you might like to use this little tip. I took a black pen, a very fine point pen, and I went around the outside of my gold like an outline, and that's how I got that nice shadow around it. You might like to do something decorative like that as well. I'll leave that up to you if you're a creative person. And next job is we have to attach our hearts. So you have to thread them through. And remember, you only need to put one if you want to, but I'm generous, I'm putting 2 hearts away. Now in my instructions on the back, it tells the person I'm giving this card to lay the seed hearts on the soil that's already moist, already fertilised, and to sprinkle just a little bit of dirt on the top, just a fine amount of dirt to cover the heart up. And you just keep watering it. And you can see now I'm just tying that into a bow so that when it gets to my friend or my mum, they can undo that and use it in that cup. And that goes into the envelope. Give to them. You can decorate the envelope as well if you want to. That's up to you. That's the end of our activity, and I hope you have lots of fun making them. And as you can see, I've got lots of hearts left over, and I've made a whole lot more. So I'm going to give these all away to my friends. I probably won't make cards for all of them. I might just like that. And another idea, if you want to, you could stack a few together and get them twined and make a neat little parcel. And that way, when you get them over to your friends, they've got a whole group of hearts. So that's another idea that you can use. You want to tie those together in the old-fashioned way that we used to do in the parcel before we get that. Start again. Bring it in. So I hope you enjoyed making notes and giving them away to the Tracy. Bye for now. Okay, everybody. Look, we'll open it up.
Start your Shopify store? What are you waiting for? Shopify comes with everything you need to start, run, and grow your business online for less than a cup of coffee per day. Shopify.com, start your free trial today.
Hi, everyone. I hope people are still there. We're just really sorry that the audio wasn't so flash, and we will get that. Oh, goodness gracious, what is going on? Okay, we will get that audio, oh, sorry, the YouTube link out to you so you can watch at home. Are there any questions? I suppose it's pretty difficult now if you haven't been able to hear, but if you'd like to ask some questions, you'll just need to unmute yourself one at a time, and either Daniel or myself, you can ask any questions about the Seedheart or perhaps switch your thinking about recycling in general, if you'd like to ask some questions. We'll just, Daniel, can you see, are there any more questions in chat time that we might need to answer?
No, just a couple of technical questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so the one thing that I can mention at the end is to do with planting. So if you make these hearts and you want to plant them yourself, then just really remember that the seeds that you plant, a normal seed, you only plant as deep as the thickness of the seed and just a touch more. So don't bury these too far, or the seed will put in so much energy to burst through to the for its root down into the ground and then the leaf stalk out into the air, that it will die. So it's really important that for success for growing these is that you follow the general rules of the seeds that you either buy or save. So that's definitely important. And a similar type of activity you can do is to actually scrunch all of that paper up into a tiny little ball. So you'd want to make sure that it was no bigger. I'm trying to think, I can only think of a squash ball or a table tennis ball. You don't want them any bigger than that, and dry them out slowly, again on a cake holder or on a absorbent cloth, and they can be thrown out into the garden with a bit of mulch around them. But again, you can't bury a seed bomb because a lot of the seeds will die trying to burst through. So it's one of those tricky ones with a seed bomb that it's got to be thrown out when it's moist, and that's generally for us in late autumn through to early spring. So that's another activity using the same paper pulp method that you can try. And Daniel, can you think of anything else that we can add?
No, just sorry about the technical issues. So what I'll do now is I'll email out to everyone a copy of the video, and then also some other ideas for some craft and art and creative activities you can do with your rubbish. If you do have any questions as well, then you'll have my email address. And if you have any questions for Robin as well, I can get back to you as well.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you'll enjoy the rest of your holidays. It looks like it's going to be pretty sunny right to almost to the end. So have fun outside and try and spend as much time outside as you can, guys. Okay, and I'll say goodbye. And thanks, Daniel, for hosting and being my co-host. And hopefully that's inspired everybody to go and have a go. Bye.